Okay, so over this last week, we've been looking at word problems and how to compare them, either additively, which is how many more or how many less, or multiplicatively, I can't say that word, sorry, how many times as many. So we're going to use something we haven't used yet this year, pictographs and bar graphs. And first of all, what is a pictograph? A pictograph is a graph that uses pictures or symbols to represent data. This pictograph right here on page 151 shows how many books 5 students checked out of a library in 1 year. So at a glance, I can see how many times or how many less or how many more books each kid read for the year. But the first thing I need to notice is what each picture represents. So each of these books represents 5 books that the kid has read. So if I were to quickly go down and write, Najim read 10, Tariq read 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Celine read 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Jamarcus read 5, 10, 15. And Brooke read 20. So I could use these numbers to attack these problems. So number 1, write an addition equation and a subtraction equation that compare the number of books Tariq checked out to the number of books Jamarcus checked out. So I need an addition and subtraction statement that equals Tariq, what Tariq has, T, equals Jamarcus plus 15. Now, if you're like, how the heck did she get that already? If you remember our comparison chart, we would write the bigger number, 30, up here. So this would be Tariq. This is Jamarcus with 15 plus the question mark. So 15 plus 15. So if I'm doing a subtraction one, it would be Jamarcus equals Tariq, take away 15. I know that half of 30 is 15. That's what's going to go in this circle. So now it wants us to write a multiplication equation and a division equation that compare the number of books Najim checked out, N, and the number of books Celine checked out, G. So Najim checked out 10, because I see that in my chart, and Celine checked out 40. So if I were doing, I know some of you are already like, well, it's 4 times because 10 times 4 is 40. You're right. So how would you write an equation that represents that Celine read 4 times as many books as Celine? So my multiplication problem would be 4 times N, 4 times what Najim read, equals Celine. And if I wanted it to be what Najim read equals Celine divided by 4. Are you following me so far? I hope so. If you need to hear it again, remember you can pause at any time, listen to it again. That's the beauty of this video situation. So Celine, we're looking at Celine, checked out twice as many books as which student? So just looking at this information, which one is going to be 2 times more than, 2 times less than Celine? Well, I know that 2 times 2 is 40, so I need to find one that equals 20. So the answer would be Brooke, that Celine checked out twice as many books as Brooke. And you can even use the picture. Look, Celine has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books here. And Brooke has 1, 2, 3, 4. Half of what she read. Okay, so let's look at number 4. Number 4 says, which student checked out 30 fewer books than Celine? 30 fewer. So I'm going to look at my books, and I'm going to say, well, 40, take away 30 equals 10. Who has 10 books? Oh, look at that. It would be Neji, 30 fewer. Twice as many. Those are your key words there. So, the number of books Dawson checked out is not shown on this pictograph. If Jamarcus checked out 10 more books than Dawson, how many books did Dawson check out? So Jamarcus has how many? 15. If that equals, so this is Jamarcus, equals, Jamarcus checked out 10 more books than Dawson. Dawson is what we don't know, plus 10. So we know if we do the inverse operation, we can figure out that Dawson checked out how many? That will be your first question on the form. Hopefully you're able to figure that one out. Okay, so now we're going to look at a different kind of graph and compare some more numbers. This is called, if you look at page 152, this is called a bar graph. The bar graph below shows the number of home runs hit by 5 members of a baseball team. Ooh, baseball, my favorite. So how do we read a bar graph? Well, these are the important things. I'm going to show you real quick. The important things are, here's the title. Then you have the team members' names and how many home runs. So it looks like the lines are by 2s. So that makes it a little easier for us to know how to read this bar graph. So let's read number 6. It says, write an addition equation and a subtraction equation that compare the number of home runs Susie hit to the number of home runs Kim hit. Well, again, I like to personally, when I see a graph, I like to figure out what each of these bars is telling me. So if I'm looking, I say Fred is 18, Greta is 6, Kim is 2, Susie is 8, and Vaughn is 12. So if I'm trying to write an addition sentence that says how many, comparing the number of home runs Susie hit to the number of home runs Kim hit, Susie hit 6 more than Kim, because I know that 2 plus 6 is 8. I know that Kim hit 6 less home runs than Susie. So Susie minus 6 would equal Kim. Now let's look at number 7. Write a multiplication equation and a division equation that compare the number of home runs Greta hit to the number of runs Fred hit. Well, I know that Greta hit 3 times less than what Fred did. So I would take Fred's number and divide it by 3. Because Greta's total number is smaller than Fred's, I have to divide up Fred's number. So Fred equals Greta times 3. Because he's 6, which is Greta, times 3 equals 18. Okay, so on your form, I'm going to have you answer 8, 9, and 10 on your own. I know, I'm pushing the envelope. But I want you to answer 8, 9, and 10 on your own. And I'm going to actually make number 11 a Caught in the Act bonus. Write a sentence about the graph that contains the words times as many. So I'm not even going to go over 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to see if you can come up with the answers on your own because we've done lots of these now. But I am going to tell you how many more home runs, 10 fewer home runs, 2 times as many. Those are those keywords that should help you be able to set up those problems. Maybe what I'll do is I'll set up the equations for you. So how many more home runs did Vaughn hit than Greta? So Vaughn is at 12 and Greta is at 6. So your equation should be Vaughn equals Greta plus 6. So see if you can figure out how many more home runs did Vaughn hit than Greta. Which player hit 10 fewer home runs than Vaughn? Well, I have to look at Vaughn. Vaughn minus 10 equals who? Number 10 is this year, Fred hit 2 times as many home runs as he hit last year. How many home runs did Fred hit last year? So this is, I'm going to say L for last year equals Fred hit 2 times as many home runs. So L equals Vaughn times 2. So you have to plug in the numbers. You know how much Vaughn hit. You know how much Greta hit. So plug in those numbers from the graph, and you have your answers for 8, 9, and 10 for your form. I hope that this was kind of a funner, great English, Mrs. Crane, more fun of an exercise in comparing, and I look forward to reading some pictographs and bar graphs in class.